Shalom, shalom, shalom to the 12 tribes of Israel that have been scattered worldwide, and to all of those who are waking up to the reality of the truth that are now following Abba Yah in spirit or Ruach and in Emet, which is truth, to those who have pledged allegiance to Hamashiach as our king, and have pledged allegiance to Yisrael as family, and as we seek to walk out and to live according to the Torah, I want to say shalom, 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 shalom to the 12 tribes, everybody waking up from South America, South Africa to the north, all the way up to Canada, all the way through Russia, or in Europe, or in China, or wherever you may be, from the ARK, and from, of course, me, Yimeyahua, on behalf of the whole complete ARK team. Just want to say shalom, shalom. And we give Yah praise for this opportunity, a beautiful opportunity for me to be able to present another message to Yah's people, to help feed the people of Yah as we wake up to his truth. That, again, is something I'll never take for granted. I want to say, before I get started with this lesson, how grateful I am to Yisrael for all that you all have done for the ARK and continue to do, your prayers and your support. You already know that this is a full-time effort on my part, that Yah has spoken to me about dedicating my entire life to help this awakening and to help study the Bible and research in order to bring messages that will help feed an awakening people, to strengthen them as we prepare ourselves to get ready to go home. So once again, I can't say it enough how much I appreciate what you all do. But not only me, the whole family, we're in appreciation of it. And of course, this is the time of the year where I try, or my wife and I try, to take a little rest and relaxation. It's normally the winter months, so it's kind of like a little slower, a little quieter. And so we try to get away. It's also always Hulda's birthday and our anniversary, our wedding anniversary. So this is our 11th year being together. So hallelujah for that. Toda Rabbah to the Most High Yah. And so we took out time, get away from everybody, and try to relax and try to recuperate and try to rejuvenate ourselves for the task. Now, of course, if anybody knows the nature of Hulda and I, while we are trying our best to just, breathe and relax and unwind, it's just basically, it's just our nature. It was good for a few days, and now we're like in the Bible, we're studying, we're researching, we're looking, and even the place where we are, we're doing a lot of research that we can hopefully be able to bring back to when we get back to the States, research, information, pictures, history that's going to help us understand ourselves better, understand the awakening better, and of course understand Torah, because that's what it's really all about. So Toda Yah for allowing us to be able to do that. I told Hulda, I said, even though we are on our yearly vacation, I said, I will still like to address Israel and give a message. And so, of course, we kind of knew that before I left, that we were going to try to post something. I thought I would be able to live stream, but it is not possible. The internet here is just too iffy. And then, of course, it's like windy, and this is a lot. So I decided to pre-record this and then to upload it so that Israel could prayerfully be blessed by some insight and by some study. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 10. And this lesson prayerfully is going to encourage us concerning a very, very important subject. And of course, that is the subject of death. I don't know, people say, what, death? Yes, well, I should say life and death. And we want to look at that because in Matthew chapter 10, and we're making our way through the entire book. Matthew is really the book Netanyahu. In Matthew chapter 10, when we get to, and if you have a way to get a Bible, or if you have a computer and you want to type this in and go along with us, or a cell phone, however you can do this, it would be good for you to read this. Of course, you never want to take a preacher's word for anything. You want to always check it and double check to make sure that he's always in the book. Hallelujah. In Netanyahu, which is Matthew chapter 10, verse 12. Oh, no, verse 5. Let's start at verse 5. This chapter is about Yehoshua sending out his Talmudim. For those of you who are new to the channel, Yehoshua is the Hebraic name that you see in the Bible. You're going to see a Greek translation of the name Yehoshua. And they translated Jesus, but it's really not. I don't have time to get into the translation. His name is Yehoshua. And the word Christ is Hamashiach. Hamashiach. So as we read the text, I use Yehoshua and Hamashiach. And then, of course, for disciples, you might hear me say Talmudim, because Talmudim in Hebrew means learner. All right, so he had men who had became his Talmudim, his students, his learners, who were following him. And in chapter 10, he calls them to himself, and then he gives them power to do some things. He has the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of diseases. And so that's chapter 10 of Matthew. When we get to verse 5, it says, these 12 Yehoshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, now watch this, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter not. Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Now, when you read this and you say, wait a minute. If Hamashiach is the Hamashiach and the Savior for all people, why in this text is he telling his Talmudim, I'm going to send you forth to heal sickness, against unclean spirits, but then when I send you, don't go to in the way of the Gentiles, and don't go into the house, and don't go into Samaria, to the Samaritans, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right. So we gotta first deal with that, and then I'll get to my message. So why does he say go to the house of you gotta go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel? How is it that the lost sheep of the house of Israel are getting preferential treatment here? I mean, how is it that he's making a choice here? How is he choosing one group of people over the other group of people, saying, I have a message for you, and this message has to start with the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Don't even go to the Gentiles, and don't even go to the Samaritans. Now that was interesting, because the Samaritans, many of the Samaritan people at that time had in their lineage, of course, Israel. So there is a specific people he's now targeting, and the question that we have to ask is why? And I'm going to try to answer that before we go further. It's because Yah is in a covenant relationship with the house of Israel. It's a covenant. As a matter of fact, it is a blood covenant. It is a life and death covenant. It's blood in, blood out covenant. That is the covenant. It is a forever covenant. And the reason this covenant is so important is because the covenant between Yah and Yisrael is vital to the saving of the whole world. It's vital to the redemption of the whole wide world. So if the house of Israel don't get it right, and if the house of Israel is not redeemed, then there is no redemption for the rest of the world. In other words, Yah, in his own sovereignty, chose a people that he would then use. He would use those people eventually to take the message of his salvation, Yahushua, to the rest of the world. And these people, of course, would be the house of Israel. So when Hamashiach gets to the planet, of course, or some people say when he comes to the world, or he comes to the Haaretz, he comes to earth, he then begins his work among his people. So he starts to do things. And if you read in the scripture, you're going to discover that immediately after he understands who he is, and immediately after his baptism and temptation by Hasatan, he begins to start to carry out his father's business. He starts at home. He starts teaching. He starts preaching. He starts healing. He starts restoring. He starts feeding people. And then, of course, he calls the 12, and they are then called to now take what he has been doing to the nation so that they can continue to do it and it would spread. So he's going to start at home. So first of all, what are they going to do? Number one, they're going to be preaching the kingdom. In other words, that the kingdom of Shamayim is here, that Yah has sent the king. All right. So that was the message, that there is a kingdom existing. There's a Roman kingdom. There is a Hebraic kingdom. There's a kingdom in the lands of the east. There's a kingdom in the north. But the kingdom of Shamayim is now here. Now, who would understand that message? Who would be the people that could actually say, oh, I understand that? Would it be people outside the covenant relationship? The answer is, of course, no. The people that would understand that particular message would be the people in covenant with the Abba Yah of the Shamayim. So he says, I need you to go tell those people who have been waiting for some 1,500 years or more that the kingdom is now here. And don't go to the Samaritans, and don't go to the Gentiles. Why? Because they don't get it, and they're not going to understand it. And besides that, they're going to immediately get on the defense and decide, oh, well, we must need to kill you then, because we're the kingdoms that are running the world, and now you're talking about as a new kingdom. So we need to start this as a grassroots movement or a ground level movement. Start with the ones who are in covenant with me and tell them that the kingdom has come. Tell them that the kingdom of the Shamayim is here. All right. Now that's verse 7. As you go, preach, saying the kingdom of Shamayim is here. Verse 8. He tells us to do several things. Number 1, heal the sick. Number 2, cleanse the leper. Number 3, raise the dead. Number 4, cast out devils. And then how are we supposed to do it? Freely as you have received, freely give. In other words, as you take these gifts, as you take this message of the gospel and the power that accompanies it, the message of the kingdom, you're going to take it out. You're going to start doing the things he told us to do. Let me share them again. Healing the sick, cleansing the lepers, raising the dead, casting out devils. He said, do it as freely as you have received it. In other words, he's saying, I freely gave it to you. Now you must freely give it to the house of Israel. Now, I want to share something very important. He says, don't take gold, nor silver, nor brass, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staffs, for the workman is worthy of his meat. He now is telling them, I need you just to go. And on the first thing they had to think about was, well, how are we going to go out and into all these different places to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and we're not going to be fed? I mean, and we don't have money for food. And he says, if you do the work, then you're worthy to be fed. So if you're feeding them, then you physical, spiritual things, then you will be worthy to receive physical food. In other words, the actual support for the full-time disciple that's out doing the work should come from those who are receiving the benefit from the work. And I hope that makes sense, Zion, because it's not the preacher has not been given the power or authority to charge before he does something. But he has been given the authority to ask for support to do what he's doing. And he has been, and the people that are being blessed by it also have a biblical mandate to support the ones that are doing the great work of spreading the gospel. That's a whole nother, I don't want to get deep in that, but that's how we operate at the ARK also. We believe that if we keep studying and doing research and then carrying out this mandate of taking the message to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and then doing the things that he says that we are to do, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils, freely you have received. In other words, we got it from him by studying and working. We didn't have to go and pay for it first. He said, then do the same thing, give it to them. And then, of course, he says, but the workman is worthy of his hire, which means that the people that you minister to, those will be the people that will support you. Okay, so this was the mandate, but the work that he had for them to do was a work way too big for them. I mean, how? Do you understand that every single thing in here that he mentioned, people can't do? Let's start with the first one. Heal the sick. Do you know man don't have any power to heal anybody's? You can't heal sicknesses. You might could come up with some medicine. You might can get a knife. You might can do some cutting and maybe sew somebody back up. But the healing part of it, one of my best friends, 20, 30 years ago, one of the doctors told me, he said, he was a doctor, heart surgeon. And he said, man, all I can do is diagnose a problem, cut somebody open, pull out what's bad, put back in something good, sew them up, but I cannot heal anybody. The healing is something that only Yah can do. All right, so number one, healing is above us. So there's obviously two sides to healing. I don't have time for that right now, but that's a whole nother message. The second thing he said was cleanse the leper. Once again, how do we cleanse a leper? How is a leper cleansed when according to Torah, we can't even touch a leper? You can't wash a leper. You can't bathe a leper. And if you did bathe a leper in water, would that then cleanse the leper? Would he still have leprosy? And his answer is yes. So when he's telling them to cleanse the leper, once again, he's telling them to do something that they cannot or do not have the physical power to do. All right. Now, the third thing he says, raise the dead. And I'm going to focus on this one in the remainder of our time. But do you already see that when we get to raising the dead, he's already given us two other things to do that we can't do. Can't heal the sick, cannot cleanse the leper. And then he says, oh, and by the way, I want you to raise the dead. Them disciples was like, okay, okay. So you're telling us to go to the house of Israel and heal all the sick people. Yes. You're telling us to go to the house of Israel and cleanse all the lepers that are there. Yes. You're telling us to go to the house of Israel and raise all the dead people that are there. Yes. You're telling me to go to the house of Israel and cast out all the devils that are there. Yes. And how are we supposed to do that? We don't have any money. Oh, don't take any money. Well, what about food? Nah, don't worry about that. What about script for the journey, shoes, clothes, all that? Don't worry about none of that. Sometimes I think these brothers was like, okay, so we're going to sick people, we're going to leprous people, we're going to dead people, and we're going to people who are demon possessed, and we got to go without any money or without extra clothes, no silver and gold, and we're supposed to trust that these sick people and these leprous people and these dead people and these demon-possessed people are supposed to then give us some food and some clothes and some shoes for the journey. That's how we're supposed to be supported. You got it. Right, exactly. That's your call. That's what you've been called to do. Oh, boy. Okay. It's impossible. Wait, no. Hamasha is saying, no, it's not impossible. I need you to go. I need you to go and do this. Why? Because you're going to my covenant people. Okay. You're going to the house of Israel, who have been holding a promise that I gave them thousands of years ago. I gave them a promise. I told them that when I got here to visit them, to dwell among them, Emmanuel, Yah with us, or Elohim dwelling with us, that those are the things I would be doing among my people. And now that I'm here, I'm doing those things among the people. But I'm not going to be here all the time, so then I'm going to need you all to do the things among the people that I did among the people when I'm gone. So you need to start practicing those things now while I'm here with you. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go heal the sick. You're going to go cleanse the leper. You're going to go raise the dead. And you're going to go cast out the devil from the house of Israel. Why? Because the house of Israel is sick. The house of Israel has got leprosy. The house of Israel is dead. And the house of Israel is demon possessed. What a job. It's a job above our pay grade. It's a job that only Yah can do. But yet he tells us to do it. Now, at this point, and he tells us to do it without charge. He says, if you do a good job, if you are a good worker, you will be worthy of whatever it is that the people give you. You'll be, matter of fact, it's a message also to the people receiving this, is that you should always support those that are doing the work of the kingdom. That's just the way it is. because the kingdom work is a work that really is above any human's pay grade. It's above any human ability. In other words, it is supernatural work. And that's the work we've been called to do. And so in this meditation, I just wanted to lay out the foundation of the work and the call of the Hebrews, of the Talmudim, to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In our next video, we're going to break those those four things down, and to see if these instructions or these orders have more than one meaning, have more than one interpretation, have more than one understanding. And of course, those of you who've been following this work and been reading Torah, I think you already know what the answer to that is. So we will pick that up on our next video. But until then, may Abba Yah bless you. Be encouraged even when you think that the task that you've been given is just too great for you. Understand, it's not you. It's the one who is working through you to accomplish his good will that's bearing the bulk and providing the power, or I should bearing the load and providing the power to accomplish his will on our behalf. Israel's waking up, but we have to have people willing to go and do the impossible. Restore the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. One love to everybody that is now woke in this truth, and is walking according to the work and the will of Abba Yah. Stay in the Torah. And I'll be putting up the second part of this video very, very soon. So be looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get it up by the end of this evening or first thing in the morning. But anyway, look forward to it and spending time with you. Wish we were live streaming, but I'm doing the best I can. We do love you. Don't forget to go by and support the work of the ARK. One love. Shalom to the 12 tribes worldwide.